I'm coming back again. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Listen up, you little bitches, this a PSA. I manifested all my dreams cause I found a way. I don't get caught up in the drama, I just stay out the way. I break loose and say my prayers and have a real nice day. Now I'm back, jumping out the windows. Hope you haters can't see all my wins though. Tell your mama, tell your sister, tell your friends though. I'ma keep winning, baby, just hope and believe so. What's going on, you guys? Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? I am so blessed to be up this morning and getting at it. I gotta say that this is the Tribe 9 podcast, sixth episode, and I'm so excited for it because unfortunately all of my siblings had other things going on today, and so I'm the only one on the show. So this is crazy. Hopefully this won't be too frequent, but I think I can rock this out still. Um, yeah, I am wanting us to get started because since it's just me, I feel like this is going to streamline really quickly. However, I'm sometimes long-winded, sometimes not. But let me tell you guys a little bit about myself. My name is Torian Parker. I am a proud South Carolina native, but I currently reside in the Bronx, New York. BX stand up. Yes, yes, yes. Thriving here in New York City, doing my thing, doing a couple of things, multi-talented young fella. Um, yeah, and me and my siblings, we decided to put together a podcast called the Tribe 9 Podcast, where we could discuss family topics, world topics, and just all around just be able to commune together for some fun. Especially on a Saturday, what's better than to like wake up with a burst of energy? And I feel like podcasts kind of give you an opportunity to do that. So, yes, we have a segment that we like to call Let's Be Real. Let's Be Real is a segment where we're able to just express whatever it is that's going on in our lives, going on in the world, or just something that we want to get off our chest. Um, and today, let's be real. I am truly learning how to um, know that all of my hard work is paying off. Sometimes, okay, so let me just give you guys a backstory. I work in sales. I'm actually a stylist at a luxury gym here in New York City, and every month there's sales quotas you have to meet. And I do pretty well. I'm actually one of the top sellers in the company. And I feel pretty proud to say that because I didn't go into it thinking that I will become one of the top sellers, but by the grace of God, I just so happened to make that one of my accomplishments. Well, here it is, the month of March, right? I have this big SPH, this sales goal to meet, and I'm just knocking it out the park. Every time I go into work, I'm killing it. I'm yielding some type of results, and I can see that like, oh, I'm about to hit my target. Well, the last couple of days of working, sales were slow. Like when I'm coming to work, there was nothing, no one coming in to shop. Here and there, people would come, but it wasn't like an influx of people. And I needed a lot of people in order to maintain my target sales goal. Needless to say, I thought I didn't clinch the goal that I needed to. And not only did I, but I kept my integrity throughout the process. I didn't give up, I didn't give in, and I didn't show a sad spirit. I kept my spirits high, I kept my faith strong, I prayed about it, and Just like that, I made my SPH goal, which is sales per hour goal. Yeah, our company is weird. They think we're cars or something. And so, but yeah, um, and so yeah, just know that whatever you're working towards, know that it's working for you and not against you, especially if you, excuse me, are going into it with the right mindset. It changes everything. And so that's what I learned a lot over this last couple of days, and super excited to start this month out and kill it again, because it's helping me with other areas of my life that you guys will learn to get to know in the future. All right, guys. So we have a full packed agenda, and I know that some of these topics have come across your screens, or I know that someone you've heard little inklings about it. And let me tell you something about the Tribe Nine podcast. We don't shy away from any topic. We discuss it because it's going on in the real world. And I always want to make sure that we give a take on some of the interesting topics, you know. And with that being said, let's get into our first topic, shall we? We have to talk about Mr. Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey, he is one of the players on the Chicago Bulls. And recently, he's been catching a lot of backlash, or he's made some controversial statements on social media. Let me just give you guys a little breakdown. The Bulls recently released Jaden Ivey from the Bulls team. The team cited conduct detrimental to the team is the reason why. Jaden Ivey has posted multiple Instagram live videos where he criticized the NBA's support of the LGBTQ plus Pride Month and described it as unrighteous and immoral. He has strong religious views, and he's made some strong religious statements in the past and additional remarks that were seen as offensive or inflammatory by the league. Um, the Bulls says that they did not publicly quote his statements, but their decision was widely understood to be a response to what he said about the anti-LGBT plus nature of his comments was the reason why they decided to part ways with him. The head coach, Billy Donovan, emphasized standards of respect and professionalism after the move. Well, guys, we're here and we're going to talk about it. What do I think about Jaden Ivey and his comments? I believe that everyone in this country has a right to vocalize what they believe in. I truly do. Um, I believe that Jaden Ivey was the same person that he was before he joined the Bulls, that he is now. And it is up to Jaden Ivey to walk down the path that he sees that he's most comfortable with. I have to question the Bulls a little bit, though. I have to push back on the Bulls, letting him go, because I think he was already posting videos about his religious beliefs before, and that didn't seem to bother you guys. But I don't know if it's donors or if it really truly are the comments that he made, or more so, hey, I do think that the NBA has a lot of players who don't support LGBTQ rights issues, or they don't, support the Pride Month awareness that the NBA does. And we got to start having these tough, honest conversations with each other, as difficult as it may be. Because, when we stop talking to each other, I feel like that creates a vacuum for disinformation, um, for everybody to get along just because. I thought that they should have brought him more into the fold, guys. You know, I don't support what he said about the LGBTQ community because I'm also a gay man and I frequent sports here and there. I grew up playing basketball and but I don't think that what he said was something that was uncommon from the things that I've heard from other people. Um and like I said, it is his religious right to have his views, and I don't think he should be persecuted about it. But I do think that um, maybe he could do a better job at having conversations about it and not necessarily um, contort the Bible or the Christianity faith religion to a one-sided way. Also, to my gays out there, to my LGBT, my lesbians, my trans people, my bisexual people, non-binary, all and queer people, listen, we don't have to sit at any table that don't want us there, okay? And I mean, I guess the Bulls are showing that they want the LGBT community to be present in these in their league, and they equivocally think that somebody's sexuality should not define who they are. But let's start creating more ways because at the end of the day, while we want to support the LGBTQ community, we also have black men that also want to be supported. And I know both all too well. I think that we've seen enough black punishment happen, and I'm not going to be a part of the cancel culture of anyone, especially if they're black. Okay. All right. Okay. Moving ahead with this whole thing, we got to get into Chilli from TLC. Has she gone MAGA? Oh, guys, let me tell you something. I'm stressed out. I don't even have social media, and I'm seeing all of the people coming against each other online, you know, especially in today's time where we have a big political divide in this country. And if you support either team, it could cost you your whole career. So let's get into it. Recently, Razonda Thomas, also known as Chilli, from the biggest selling girl group of all time, TLC. Well, she recently caught backlash for posting. Oh, well, let's get to the post. She reposted a conspiracy video about Michelle Obama that falsely questioned her identity. The post triggered major backlash, with many calling it offensive and harmful. Chilli addressed everything in an Instagram statement, said she is not MAGA and does not support these policies, claimed the donations were a mistake. She thought she was supporting anti-human trafficking and veteran issues because, guys, there's also reports that said that public records show that Chilli donated around $900 to $1,000 to groups connected to Donald Trump's 2024 campaign. These groups include fundraising platforms like WinRed. Um, She said also that the Michelle Obama repost was accidental, blaming unfamiliarity with the social media platform. Like with the buttons and what they all mean and stuff like that. So she said she was unfamiliar with what was happening. Emphasized that she respects the Obamas and even voted for Barack Obama twice. She said she also was a big supporter of the initiative that Michelle Obama had about kids working out and eating healthy in school. Many fans and commentators did not fully accept her explanation, especially online. Critics argued the donations and reposts together looked very suspicious. While she had um, support from one of her TLC is supposed to go on tour with In Vogue and with Salt and Pepper. Well, Salt from Salt and Pepper came out and was like, "Look, guys, y'all need to go easy on my girl because a lot of what y'all saying is harmful, and also people are losing their careers and they're losing their social identity with people that they love." Let me just address this real quick because I think that this is very serious. Let me turn down my music real quick because I don't think y'all hear me. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of black people thinking that we can throw each other away because we don't agree on how things should run in this country. We are not the creators or or the destroyers of this country. Let's be very clear. And no matter what side you're on, Democrat or Republican, they're both parties are capitulate into the destruction and the character assassination of black people in this country. We can't do it to ourselves. We cannot be mad at Chili if she supports Donald Trump or doesn't support Donald Trump for what's going on. She's not the one pulling the trigger to make him do um to start war, whatever narratives that people have about the current president and the administration. Um she's not the orchestrator or arbiter of of these policies. Even if she does support them, she does not have the leadership to make the changes that you guys so care about. Um, and I say you guys because let me tell you something. I voted for, it doesn't matter who I voted for, but I voted like most of the people that I know voted for. And my world doesn't stop because somebody that I didn't vote for is in office. It's never been that way for me as a black person. I've always had to go the extra mile to get into doors or rooms that you guys are criticizing Chili about. Chili had to do the same thing. She had to bust down doors to get to where she is. So I find it very offensive, to be honest, that there's so much rich vitriol for Chili when we don't have the full context. And what she said is what she said. Do you guys know otherwise? She said that she was unfamiliar about the social media platform on Instagram and how reposting and stuff can happen. I truly believe that. Have you ever liked something on social media and you didn't really mean to like it, but somebody else saw that you liked it? That can happen. Or like I said, a repost could happen, or you know, anything could happen. I'm not here to bring people down. I'm all about lifting people up, and I'm going to support Chili. Y'all go out and buy those tickets to the concert. Let me tell you something. Waterfalls, um, No Scrubs, and these are some of their biggest hits, but they have so many records. Ain't Too Proud to Beg, Red Light Special. Go out and support the tour. Salt and Pepper is gonna be there. And I got to see Peppa at the Nicki Minaj concert back in 2023, and she was phenomenal, and she looked good. So if that is some inclination that a 50-something-year-old woman can be out there and dipping it and doing it and giving us all of our favorite songs to enjoy, guy. Entertainment is supposed to be for our enjoyment. And so, yes, I definitely think that, oh yeah, and In Vogue, go out and support In Vogue. These ladies are working hard to put on shows for you guys. Let's focus on that. Let's leave the politics to the politicians to answer to whatever it is. And if you guys are so mad at Chili, then you need to be out and voting. That's what you should be mad about. That, oh, maybe your side didn't get enough people to vote. And that's what I had to make sure that I knew after I voted that, look, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Yeah. 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 That's it. That's that. All right, moving on, guys. Um, let's talk about it. LeBron not feeling Memphis? You know what? At this point, maybe maybe public figures should just don't say anything because you're bound to offend someone, right? You're gonna offend someone somewhere, some little place, little town, little, you know, maybe Antarctica. Some penguin is being offended by what we, and they might be actually. I think that penguins are all offended by how global warming has taken over the planet, and they're like, I don't have that many much more places to, flipper around on some giant ice. So also they also go to penguins are weird because they go to South Africa, certain seasons, and they pile up in South Africa too. So they're going back and forth. But yes, another public figure saying something controversial is none other than LeBron James. LeBron James was recently in Memphis, Tennessee, and well, guys, he made a statement saying in a video, there's a video out there, guys. I don't have it pulled up, but there is a video of LeBron James saying, "I'm effing 41 years of age. You think I want to do ish in Memphis on a random Thursday?" Well, he also suggested that Memphis Grizzlies should move to Nashville, Tennessee, and even joked that if he had been drafted in 2020, 2003 to the Memphis Grizzlies, excuse me, he might have refused to go. Well, what he meant to say in context was he was mainly talking about the NBA travel and lifestyle, not necessarily attacking the people of Memphis directly. He did acknowledge that the fans and people are great, but criticized it as an NBA destination compared to bigger markets. This kind of comment reflects a broader sentiment some players doubt of smaller market cities. Well, it blew up on social media. People were saying that his quotes were too blunt and dismissive. People said that Memphis fans took it as disrespect, and it reignited the debate about bigger and smaller markets. Um, guys, this is another thing where I grew up in a small town. Well, I was born in Orangeburg, South Carolina. A lot of you guys probably don't know where that is, but I was born in Orangeburg, South Carolina. I was raised in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And I just feel like this. Smaller cities, we've always gotten the rap of like, what is there to do in this city? What, people I tell people I'm from South Carolina, they'll say, "Oh, how unfortunate." They'll say like smart, they never say it with the interest. And I think that LeBron James was really just speaking from a human place, which is not everybody gotta like everywhere they go and do everything. There was a time where artists, athletes, and everyone had to say these things. They're in an interview in in a city or state that they barely frequent. They'll say, "How are you liking our city?" They're like, "Oh, I love the city. I love the food. I love," and really they probably don't really mean it. So at least LeBron James was just honest about his own perspective about Memphis, Tennessee. I've been to Memphis, Tennessee. I loved Memphis. Um, I won. I I loved it because it does remind me. I mean, I'm from South Carolina, so it just reminds me of like that southern living. Um, I think they have the Bass Shop, which is like where you go and like buy all your fishing gear and stuff like that. That's in Memphis, Tennessee. Also, the Lorraine Hotel, which is a great site for people to go visit. That is unfortunately where the great Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated at that hotel. And I was able to go, and you do get a sense of like, wow, I can't believe that there's a lot of enriched culture in Memphis, Tennessee. They have Memphis barbecue. Still think the South Carolina's barbecue is better, but Memphis does have great barbecue. Um, and I also like did like a 2 week um camping situation when I was a kid and a teenager. And um oh, maybe that wasn't Memphis. Maybe it was Knoxville, Tennessee. But I listen, guys. I don't think that LeBron should have to be apologetic about not loving a city. He lives in LA, guys. LA is a pretty nice city. Like it has a lot of glitz and glamour to it. It has oceans. It has palm trees, and this is a different type of lifestyle that he lives. So, yeah, in his mind, maybe what can he do? But instead of once again, guys, this is another black man, and it seems like a lot of black people love attacking other black people. How about call LeBron up and say, LeBron, you don't know what to do in Memphis? Let me go out. Let me go show you what it's like in Memphis. Let me take you to my mama's house, my dad's house. Let me take you to my favorite restaurant. Let me take you to the things that we like to go do. Go bowling, go skating, play some pool. There might be something that he could be interested in. Also, what I noticed too is that a lot of people who have a lot of money, they get bored very easily. You know, the, because they feel like they've done everything. They've done the yachts, they've done the private planes, the jets, the helicopters. They done maybe some extreme things. So, maybe it's his own fatigue of where he is in his life. LeBron, you know, try not to be so offensive to people with what you say, you know. Try. I know it's hard for all of us, but he can try. um, but yeah, no, I just thought that was like a weird, interesting thing that this is going viral, you know. Um, yeah. Last topic, but I think it's the best topic, guys. It's the best topic. I promise you. It's the best topic because we're gonna talk about the HBCU experience. Shout out to all the historical black colleges and universities the out in the world. I am a proud graduate and alum of Clark Atlanta University. I decided to wear my paraphernalia today because I wanted to, make this super important to talk about. Right now, guys, I feel like there is college fatigue, and also um, there's been a lot of conversation surrounding whether it's worth it to go to college in the 21st century. With AI on the rise, with um, entrepreneurship on the rise, with um, um, there's you don't have to read a lot because we doing things like podcasts, and we're streaming, and we're finding different ways to communicate with each other, so there's not a lot of appetite for learning in the traditional sense. But I want to pose to you guys the question: if you think that not just attending college, but attending a HBCU is still relevant in the 21st century. For those who may not know, a HBCU is pretty much a historical black college or university. The institutions were established primarily to educate Black Americans, especially during times when segregation limited access to higher education. Um, Now, today, those schools are open to the public. of all nationalities, all ethnicities. Excuse me. Woo. Um, yeah, but it still remains deeply rooted in Black history and culture. Some of the most well-known historical Black colleges might be Howard, Morehouse, Spelman, you have FAMU, you even have Clark Atlanta, we're on the rise as well. And actually, Clark Atlanta was two historical Black institutions, Clark College and Atlanta University came together in 1988 and consolidated into what we now know as Clark Atlanta University. And it's actually got, has been receiving a lot of recognition in these last 20 years that has really exponentially grown the university's prominence in higher educational learning. But yeah, we also have places like um, in Alabama, A&M. We have uh, North Carolina A&T, South Carolina State University. There are a lot of HBCUs out there, and I'm sorry if I don't mention them all, but I want to say to that question that I posed to you guys, I definitely think that going to a HBCU is not just going to receive a higher educational learning, but it also teaches you a lot about your history, especially if you are a person of color, if you're a Black person. I feel like when you go to a HBCU, you do really learn some foundational Black stuff. Um, I learned about protesting in at a HBCU. I probably would have never learned that if I went to a um, another alternative university or high or institution. Um, oh, what else did I learn? Yeah, I learned about civil rights leaders. I learned about how to become a leader because when I was in high school, I was well known, but I didn't have any type of leadership position. I think that most of the presidents, vice presidents, and if you know the people who ran the classes were a lot of uh, YT people who I was also friends with. But you know, I just didn't see a leadership as something at the forefront. And so going to a HBCU, it gave me a chance to be a leader of organizations. And um, I love that I had the opportunity. Um, I was a orientation guide. I was a brand admissions ambassador. I think I served on the NAACP, the NAACP chapter of Clark Atlanta University. I was the vice president of a radio station. I stepped for my freshman dorm. So at a HBCU, especially at Clark Atlanta University, we have dormitory step shows. And this is like something that you don't get at other schools. You don't get those moments of what does a homecoming look like at an HBCU versus other homecomings? What does um um yeah, like I said, step shows and promenade performances by sororities and fraternities. Um, just the overall closeness that you will receive at a HBCU was probably like none other. Um, so there is like I said, there's a strong sense of community building. There's cultural affirmation. You know, you being Black and bold and beautiful is accepted at a HBCU. Um, there's supportive academic environment. Um, I do have I do I'll dive more into that in just a few minutes, but there's leadership opportunities. Like I said, guys, when I was in high school, I there was no encouragement for me to become a leader at my predominantly YT school. even though I was smart, I mean, I was well known. There was not that confidence um, until I got to a HBCU, and the leadership quality just started to exude even more. The networking and alumni connections. Yeah, I definitely think that if you go to HBCU, there is a level of connection that you do have. You can always reach out to somebody. Somebody knows something um, that can get you to your next goal, or just being able to have friends that are from HBCUs. Career outcomes. There there are some fields in the industry that specifically choose people from HBCUs. I think even now, some companies, major companies, have partnerships with HBCUs because they know how valuable the talent is coming out of those institutions. And although college was expensive for me in general, but it does open up access to Black and brown kids being able to go to college because unfortunately like, a lot of these other schools are so expensive that it really does price out the average um, Black American to go to college. So it does give you access to get higher learning. Um, Fighting through the financial aid line, fighting through registrar, you'll it's still a blessing to go. Um, but one, I want to show you guys a video of a step performance from uh, my institution. There was a dorm called Pfeiffer Hall, and this is a performance from uh, our girls. They did a performance to. Let me just share my screen real quick with you guys, and let me show y'all this thing real quick. This is at HBCU. Guys, that was one of the best experiences that you can get your first year in college. They did a performance. What was so great about those step shows is that you got to really see the creativity from younger people. They were, of course, the Simpsons. They were Marge Simpson as their theme. And look at, did you guys see the precision and the vocal ability and the strength that those women exuded on that stage? I'm telling you, I have not seen any other culture do something like it. And these girls went on. That show was back from 2013. Those girls have gone on to get their master's degrees, their doctoral degrees. They've gone on to travel the world. They've gone on to get married, to have babies. That is what we do at HBCUs. We allow for you to express yourself creatively, and then go out and be great citizens of the United States. I mean, it's nothing like it. My performance, I was also a Pfeiffer Hall step team member in 2010, and that was a major experience for me too because it showed because I wanted to do something to get my I was so shy and so scared to talk that I needed something like a step team to make my personality pop and to come alive. And that's what that offered for me. In addition to being an orientation guy was so cool because new kids are coming into school, they don't know what to do, they don't know how to do stuff, and you're just there to support them. And also you get to hype them up because we did things like cheers, we did strolling. Strolling is pretty much where you dance in a line with music going in the background. I mean, lots of great stuff that came from it. I learned how to become a man going to a HBCU. There are some downfalls too, guys. It's expensive to go to college in general, but it can certainly be expensive going to a HBCU because there's not a lot of funding. And recently, we've seen some generous donors give billions of dollars to HBCUs, and it's so needed because not only are we paying for students to sit in the classrooms and to live on dorms, but they also have to upkeep the buildings, and they have to pay the staff, and they have to pay for more exposure, and it can run up a lot of money, and so that is a downside that I think that people should think about going to a HBCU. Um, Also, I do think that some experiences, we talk about black people and like us sticking together, but I do think that in some HBCU experiences there can be a level of black elitism where you might join a fraternity or sorority, and that automatically, puts in your mind that you might be different than the other black people at the school. But I say, if anything, joining a organization or doing something on campus to better you should just be an enhancement to who you are, not who you are. Um, and I think that elitism sometimes over showcase itself in after college. These people go on to get jobs, they go on to be leaders in other formats, and they might look at other black people in the wrong light. So um, I'm not saying that that happens at every HBCU, but I definitely think that there's a tendency that this type of thing can happen. What else? I do think that um, being up to date with what the current um, life is like for in the workforce and in the real world. I think HBCUs can tap into that more. I do see them um, like when I was growing up in college, I was on a radio station, but guys, YouTube was popping off. Like YouTube was coming up at that time, and we did not jump on the chance to be on YouTube. We were so focused on trying to get on the radio, but the radio, while still very important, we could have been tapping into another market if we had been thinking innovatively, or if the institution itself was thinking more innovative about how do we reach the newer audience that is going that because I was always on YouTube. It's so crazy that you think about these types of stuff now, but like I was always on YouTube, but I never thought that the radio station could be on YouTube. So, hey, that's and now I think they do shows sometimes. The radio station that is on our campus is doing stuff like that. So yeah, it's just the access to what's next. I definitely think that HBCUs can work on that. Also, inviting more inclusion to the HBCU experience. I definitely think that we can open up our HBCU experience to other demographic, other racial groups, um, which you do see that, but it's not as prevalent. But I definitely think that that is something that could be a little bit more hyper focused because we do need the dollars. Okay. We need the dollars. So if they're coming from, you know, YT people, Indian people, Asian people, Middle Eastern people, we want great kids to come to our schools and forge the kind of relationship that we want to see out in the world. Because think about it, if Black people have things that they want to accomplish in life from a political spectrum, if we're in our own institutions, in our own silos, then we may not be able to win other people's thoughts and mindsets. So if we spent some time, if we spent some time um, recruiting or opening the doors up to these other kids to come to our schools, then maybe we can have a more broader conversation about some of the things that we do love and cherish and care about. You know, um, I wanted my siblings to be on for this segment because some of my siblings, they went to historical Black colleges and some predominantly white institutions as well. But maybe one day we'll have a revisit this conversation and we just get some pros and cons from them. But I wanted to make sure I still gave my take because I loved my college experience. I wouldn't have changed it. Sometimes I think about it, like, that tuition was expensive, and I do have college debt, but it was worth it. It was worth it. I am who I am because of the experiences that I have had. Um, so blessed to call Clark-Atlanta University my HBCU. I have gone to I've gone back for homecomings, and um, I want to get more active. So if somebody out there at the alumni chapters of Clark-Atlanta, hit your boy up. I want to be able to give back, and I also want to be able to get involved and support the next leaders that come out of our great institutions. Because, oh yes, we're great. Oh, yeah, we're great. We're great. All right. Last but not least, how well do you know me? We normally do this segment, and it's most of us are on, and it gives us a chance to say a statement and to see who does that apply to in our family. But I guess because it's just me today, I will say, how well do you know me? You guys don't really know me like that. So, hey, that's okay. You'll get to know me. My favorite color is green. That's one thing that you should know about your boy. I'm wearing red today, but that's not really my color. Green is mostly my color. Money is green. You know, jewels that are green are nice looking. I like wearing green items. I'm not super green, but I like green. Green is cool. Yeah, the color green is cool. It's a vibe. It's chill. It's not loud. It's not boisterous. It's just, you know, it's subtle. And with that being said, guys, this is it. We've made it to the end. I thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. And please share, subscribe, comment. Let people know that the Tribe 9 podcast goes on every other Saturday. And this is our 6th episode. We're only going to get bigger and better at this thing. So please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Love you guys and have a blessed day. And I'm coming back again. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Listen up, you little bitches, this a PSA. I manifested all my dreams cause I found a way. I don't get caught up in the drama, I just stay out the way. I break loose and say my prayers and have a real nice day. Now I'm back, jumping out the windows. Hope you haters can't see all my wins though. Tell your mama, tell your sister, tell your friends though. I'ma keep winning, baby, just hope and believe so.